So, what's up, guys? So I know it's been a while since I've done a Pokemon video on my channel, but I was kind of waiting until Sun and Moon came out. I didn't want to, kind of start early, I guess, or something like that. I didn't really want to like do an RS video right at the end of that generation to then immediately go into the next one. But here we have my first team analysis for 7th gen. And this is a team I made by myself, and you can see some gameplay of it on JJ's channel either this week or next week, depending on when he uploads. But this team is kind of focused around Specs Tapu Lele. Now, Tapu Lele is probably one of the biggest threats right now in pre-bank OU, pretty much pre-tier OU. And it is absolutely fantastic. By the way, this team is only for pre-bank. Not that I don't like Pokebank OU. But I really just don't like seeing some of the ORAS things that I've seen for the past, 2 years or so. Even though you still have stuff like Garchomp or whatever that's so here, but yeah, it's a really fun tier to play right now. Excuse me. There's not a whole bunch of like big threats that you usually see. Not even some of the common mons like Rotom Wash, like Landorus and all that stuff. But looking at this team, first off we have Araquanid, especially defensive Araquanid. Araquanid takes so many good hits. Base 132 special defense, even with 68 HP, is not bad at all. This thing takes just so many hits. Could even take hits from Specs Tapu Lele, take a Psychic and kill it with a Leech Life or something like that. Liquidation, signature move, equip it Water Bubble. Water Bubble, Araquanid cannot get burned. Araquanid also takes half damage from fire attacks and doubles the damage of water attacks. So Liquidation is base 170 right before I use it, and it's a bomb on a Pokemon. Leech Life got a buff this generation. It now has 80 power. So, this is my sort of recovery. Araquanid doesn't really have a large move pool to choose from, but if you have leftovers, if you have Leech Life, even if 90% of the time you're going to be going for Liquidation, if you ever get the chance to go for Leech Life and you'll kill and all that stuff, I definitely say go for it. In the meantime, we also have Toxic, we have Protect, typical special wall type thing. Next, we have Specs Tapu Lele, and like I said, Tapu Lele is one of the biggest threats in this tier, and I'm actually going to switch Energy Ball out for T-Ball, because I don't really need Energy. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, Specs Tapu Lele, Psychic Surge now adds the effect of Psychic Terrain, and if you don't know what Psychic Terrain does, it boosts the power of Psychic type attacks, it lessens the power of Fighting type attacks. And it also means Tapu Lele cannot be hit by any form of priority attacks. This spans from normal priority attacks like Bullet Punch, something like that, to attacks or moves that are augmented as priorities. So Brave Bird from Gale Wings Talonflame, that won't work. Any sort of Prankster ability won't work, that type of thing. It's actually great. And I mean, frankly, Psychic Terrain works for both sides, to be fair, but you're really only caring about how it works for Tapu Lele. Specs, coming off of this 130 base attack, Psychic, there's really no switch-ins to Tapu Lele at all in its tier right now. The best one is Metagross, because Metagross resists both your stabs. But you could always 2-hit KO Metagross with HP Fire. I think even on the Switch, HP Fire will do about 60, maybe even 70%. I actually have not gone for HP Fire on a Metagross to test that out. But HP Fire is really good for countering Scizors. Kartanas are another one that'll just immediately fall off the map getting hit by HP Fire. Obviously, you have Dual Stab here, and like I said, nothing really switches into this. And then your last move is Filler. I did have Energy Ball. Energy Ball is not a bad choice. T-Volt is also pretty good. You could run Shadow Ball, and actually, I might actually start running Shadow Ball, just test things out. I mean, it's a filler move depending on what the rest of your squad prospers from. I have T-Bolt and Energy Ball and Circuitry, so I might not need that, but you know what? That last move has kind of always been changing, so I'll see how that goes from there. Next, I have Scarf Chomp, and Chomp right now is still a great Pokemon. Unfortunately, Chomp does not get Stealth Rocks pre-bank. In January, once Pokebank updates and you're able to get all your Pokemon from Oras and bring them over to Sun and Moon, then Chomp will go back to having Stealth Rocks. Excuse me, I'm sorry, it's like late, I just ate and all that stuff. Scarf Chomp is really good. With Scarf, you do outspeed Pheromosa, which is I don't think it's a huge threat right now, but Pheromosa is the fastest Pokemon in the tier. And so having Scarf, you outspeed Pheromosa if you need to. You outspeed stuff like Tapu Koko, which is a big threat. And some other really fast mons. I'm running Earthquake, and I'm running Dragon Claw and Outrage. I mean, the way the metagame is working right now, you will always see at least one Tapu on every team, so your opponent will have possibly one Fairy type on every team. And I never want to go for Outrage and lock myself in and then be screwed to die from Moonblast or something like that. At the same time, you could always go for more powered, that kind of thing. I'm also carrying Fire Blast because there are things like Celesteela, excuse me, Kartana is a thing, Alolan Dugtrio sometimes, all these things where it might not be beneficial for you to go for an Earthquake, so you're better off going for Fire Blast, that kind of thing. I could run Fire Fang, but I really just don't like the move. Also Fire Blast, just has a higher base damage, and it's just like a great coverage at the end of it, because if you're scrolling down and you're looking at some big threats, Celesteela is one of them, and this is only if you don't, like I said, you don't have the opportunity to go for Earthquake instead. I mean, you're not going to go for Celesteela, but excuse me. Alolan Dougie's another one. There's another big one here, and I just can't remember for the life of me. What is it? Kartana. Klefki is always a thing. Klefki kind of comes in and out of the metagame every now and then. Magearna's a huge one. Magearna's such a big threat to this team. And, again, if your opponent has something with Levitate or something that is flying type and you possibly can't go for an Earthquake, having Fire Blast is okay. You'll still 2-hit KO this thing, or get close to 2-hit KOing Magearna, depending on hazards and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's good for Metagross, all that kind of thing. It's just an all-around great coverage move. So next, we have Alolan Dugtrio, and I don't dislike Alolan Dugtrio. None of the abilities right now really matter. I don't even know what do I even have Sandforce. I think I have Sandforce for like the 1 or 2 times where I ever run into a Hippowdon, I think. So I think Hippowdon's here? Is Hippowdon here? No, T-Tar is not here. Okay, so there's no reason at all, really, unless I run into like a Gigalith or something like that. T-Tar's not here. But yeah, Alolan Dugtrio, this thing is kind of fun to use. It's also my sort of Tapu counter for the most part. With the exception of, I believe, Tapu Fini, Ironhead will OHKO the Tapus. Obviously running max speed. I do wish Alolan Dugtrio had the same speed as regular Dugtrio, and the reason for this is, like I said, Metagross is a huge threat, not just to Bulele, but to this entire team, especially Mega Metagross. Because of how Mega Evolution works now, when you Mega Evolve, you automatically get the speed stat. So automatically, Mega Metagross speed ties with Dugtrio. If it's Jolly, then then we really do have a speed tie. Then that's all based on whatever. If he's Adamant, then I'll still outspeed and I'll be able to 2-hit KO him with Earthquake, or depending on how much prior damage he has. I have Darkinium Z because Z Momental will inflict the lowered attack or lowered attack and lowered special attack on my opponent, and it'll heal whatever I want to bring in. So it sort of works like a healing wish. If my Tapu Lele is low or something like that, I could always go for Z Memento, get my Pokemon back. It's a great comeback tactic. If not, I can go for the dark move, the Z dark move. I forget what it's called right now. I kind of think this is kind of like I want to say it's my pivot support mon. Not that I really pivot this thing into anything. Unfortunately, I kind of made this out to be my Tapu Koko counter, and Alolan Dugtrio does not take a Dazzling Gleam from Tapu Koko. And mind you, Tapu Koko is faster anyways. I've seen a lot of Scarfed Alolan Dugtrios, and a lot of Scarfed Dugtrios on Pokebank OU, just to outspeed Tapu Koko and trapping him, but that kind of thing. Next I have Tailglow, Shukaberry, Xerxetry, and I really do love this Pokemon. Once you get a Tailglow up, if your opponent has nothing to switch in Xerxetry, has nothing faster, and I mean, not that 83 speed is anything really to write home about. It's okay, but you're not really going to be outspeeding most of the big threats. But if your opponent really has nothing at all, once you get to +3, T-Ball, Energy Ball, HP Ground, any one of them is going to do massive damage. This is pretty much my my Celesteela counter. It's my check to Magnezone, depending. It is my, it's pretty much my steel check. I have HP Ground because there is a Alola Marowak, and Alola Marowak does have the Lightning Rod ability, so I can still OHKO this thing. I can still OHKO Alola Marowak depending on what spread it is with HP Ground. And again, Beast Boost, if you're unfamiliar, Beast Boost will raise the highest stat by 1 every time I get a kill. So look at this, 173. This is 440 for special attack. Invested but not natured, and it is this is an absolute monster. And then my last mon is Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz I always think is a great mon. It was doing really well very, very early Sun and Moon, and I mean like the same week that Sun and Moon came out, because Aegislash was here. I actually still think Mandibuzz is pretty much a great check to most of the mons currently in OU. This might change in Pokebank, and to be fair, the entire team might change in Pokebank. I could go to using regular Dugtrio instead, just because I have Arena Trap and all that stuff. I might make this Focus Sash with rocks or something like that, or I could even keep it as Scarf Rocks. I may have something different. But I'm playing in OU right now, and Sun and Moon OU right now is really fun for me. I think, like I said, the biggest threat to this team, Mega Metagross is a huge threat. Because even if I lose Garchomp or if I lose Mandibuzz, I have no real check. And the only reason I don't call Dugtrio check is because, like I said, there's possibilities that they might speed tie if he's Jolly. And I also need prior damage to kill with Earthquake. I can pretty much foul play. I can take a Meteor Mash, because I don't think at the moment Metagross can get Elemental Punches, so he can't get Ice Punch, can't get T-Punch. So I can take a Meteor Mash and I can kill with foul play. Garchomp can take a Meteor Mash. He wouldn't really appreciate it, but he can take a Meteor Mash or Zen Headbutt. And to a KO. Again, the problem is that Mega Metagross is also so bulky, so it'd still be a 2 KO. Xerxetry, after I think it's +1, I can kill with T-Bolt. Maybe after +2 I kill with HP Ground, but it's still huge threat to this team, and it pretty much comes in whenever Tapu Lele is around. I might have to test out running Shadow Ball, seeing how that works. The only problem with Shadow Ball is that it really only helps against Metagross, so I might have to switch that out. Another big threat would be Magearna. Magearna, if I lose Dugtrio or if I lose Garchomp. I mean, the sad part is Steel types really do have a problem, or really do cause a problem for my team. Tapu Koko can be a big threat if I lose Garchomp. Um, let's just look. Mega Zam right now is a huge problem. Especially if it's coupled with something like Tapu Lele, where once Psychic Terrain is up, you know, it can't get hit priority. You'll see a lot of players who use Mega Zam. They will come in on an Ultra Beast that they can kill, so they can trace the Beast Boost, and then they'll immediately go for you know, Killing Blow and then get the plus special attack or something like that. I mean, it's a fantastic tactic, but it can really suck. Pheromosa can possibly be a problem on this team, just because, you know, even though I have Scarf Garchomp, Pheromosa does carry Ice Beam. If it predicts it, you know, I Ice Beam, even uninvested Ice Beam will Oko Garchomp and stuff like that. Gengar, I would still say, is a decently big threat to this team as well. Again, all these mons that are faster than Garchomp, you know, I need to sort of keep Garchomp around just to like outspeed things. But the great part about this team is, you know, you are running Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele does have Psychic Surge, and so many people forget about how Psychic Surge works. Ash Greninja is another one, especially if I lose Tapu Lele. But yeah, a lot of people forget how Psychic Surge works and Psychic Terrain, so this is my team. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed. It's been a while since I've done one of these team analysis videos. I'm a bit rusty, and I'm sorry about that, and I know I was coughing and all that stuff, but yeah, I should have another one maybe by the beginning of next week on one of my other teams. But you know, if you guys enjoy my content, please keep watching, liking, all that stuff. If you guys want to see more Pokemon stuff, you guys can go to JJ's channel. He's the one who does all the live records and all that stuff we do together. So yeah, so then I'll see you guys later.